Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Battleverse Conflict. Today we bring you the dramatic unfolding of Ukraine's retaliation against Russia, a moment that sent shockwaves through the global stage as Ukrainian strikes left Russian oil refineries burning, their skies filled with towering plumes of black smoke, their economy trembling under the weight of destruction, and their leadership scrambling for explanations. This event is not simply a tactical operation. It is a story of survival, innovation, and defiance. From the exterior, what the world witnessed was nothing short of extraordinary. Images of massive fireballs rising into the night sky, industrial complexes erupting in flames, and smoke covering entire horizons instantly became the face of Ukraine's counterstrike. These visuals were more than destruction. They were symbols of resilience and determination, representing a smaller nation forcing its larger adversary to feel pain in places it least expected. The burning oil refineries reflected not only the loss of billions in fuel and infrastructure, but also the unraveling of Russia's confidence in its own invulnerability. The exterior, thus, was designed to shock, to inspire, and to communicate power without words, each explosion echoing the message that Ukraine was no longer only defending but actively retaliating, and retaliating effectively. Inside this story lies the interior, vast, complex, and layered, showing us the real machinery that powered this retaliation. The interior reveals the combination of intelligence, technology, and international support that made such precision possible. Ukraine, over the course of this war, has evolved its interior systems of command and execution. Long before the strikes happened, intelligence teams gathered information through satellites, drones, intercepted communications, and allied surveillance. These data points painted a picture of where Russian oil supplies were most vulnerable, which refineries were critical to sustaining tanks, fighter jets, and artillery, and which targets, once destroyed, would create the maximum disruption with the minimum collateral damage. The interior extends into the war rooms of Kiev, where strategists pored over maps, calculating fuel supply lines, refinery capacity, and defense weaknesses. Aligning these findings with the limited but sharp tools Ukraine has at its disposal. Unlike Russia, Ukraine cannot afford waste. Every missile and drone counts. Engineers worked tirelessly to adapt drones to travel longer distances, evade radar detection, and carry warheads powerful enough to ignite industrial complexes. The interior also includes international support. The silent hand of allies providing real-time satellite imagery, advanced tracking software, and perhaps even logistical intelligence that made these strikes so precise. Within this interior, there is also the courage of operators, those pilots and drone teams who risk interception or death with every mission, whose dedication makes the impossible possible. But the interior is not just military. It is political, with President Zelensky and his leadership calculating the risks and benefits, understanding that such strikes may provoke retaliation, but also knowing that only by targeting the economic lifeblood of Russia can Ukraine level the playing field. It is psychological, as Ukrainian citizens rally with pride at seeing their nation strike deep into Russia, proof that they are not powerless. It is economic, with the understanding that each fire that consumes oil reserves weakens Moscow's ability to finance its war. And it is symbolic, with the interior design of this retaliation sending a message to both domestic and international audiences that Ukraine is innovative, capable, and unafraid to strike where it hurts most. Performance in this strike speaks volumes about Ukraine's capabilities. On the battlefield, performance is often measured by immediate impact, and here the results were undeniable. Multiple refineries were damaged or destroyed, production came to a halt in key facilities, and fuel distribution networks were disrupted. Russian logistics, which already struggled under sanctions and supply chain issues, were pushed further into chaos. Ukraine's use of long-range drones was a showcase of adaptability and precision. These were not random attacks, but carefully targeted blows. The performance is comparable to a finely tuned machine where every component works together in perfect sync. Intelligence, engineering, timing, and execution. Russia's performance, in contrast, revealed glaring weaknesses. Despite boasting one of the most advanced air defense systems in the world, Russia failed to stop drones that penetrated hundreds of kilometers into its territory. Fires raged for hours, some for days, revealing inadequacies in emergency response and preparedness. The international audience judged this performance, and the conclusion was clear. Ukraine had outmaneuvered Russia technologically, tactically, and symbolically. Safety features in this context are about precision and restraint. Ukraine could have chosen indiscriminate bombings of civilian areas, but instead it demonstrated discipline, focusing on refineries that directly fuel Russia's war machine. These safety measures are both moral and strategic. Morally, Ukraine differentiates itself from Russia's indiscriminate targeting of cities and civilians. Strategically, this focus shields Ukraine from accusations of war crimes, strengthening its standing on the world stage. The targeting systems used in these strikes represent safety features of modern warfare, ensuring minimal collateral damage while maximizing impact on military infrastructure. By controlling the narrative, Ukraine ensures that the world sees it not as an aggressor, but as a defender striking back with precision, showing the difference between vengeance and justice. The unique selling points of these strikes lie in their boldness and impact. Ukraine demonstrated that it can reach deep into Russia, striking areas once thought safe. This sends a chilling message to the Russian public that their leadership cannot protect them from the consequences of war. Another unique selling point is Ukraine's ability to innovate with limited resources. Unlike Russia, which has vast stockpiles, Ukraine crafts efficiency out of scarcity. Every strike is a masterpiece of calculation. Furthermore, these strikes reframe Ukraine's image internationally. No longer just a victim pleading for defense, Ukraine becomes an actor capable of shaping events, showing allies that their support is not wasted and showing adversaries that intimidation will be met with retaliation. Price is a critical factor in this story. For Ukraine, the price is high. Each operation costs money, resources, and risk. Drones are lost, lives are endangered, and scarce resources are consumed. Yet the returns justify the cost. For Russia, the price is staggering. Each destroyed refinery represents millions, even billions, in lost infrastructure, production, and revenue. The flames consume not just oil, but also the financial backbone of the Kremlin's war effort. Russia pays in economic disruption, rising global oil market instability, and diminished military logistics. The domestic price is also psychological, with citizens witnessing their own vulnerability, questioning the leadership that promised invincibility. Globally, the price manifests in shifting energy prices and renewed debates about dependency on Russian oil. The price, therefore, is unequal. Ukraine spends little but achieves much, while Russia loses heavily and gains nothing. In conclusion, this retaliation was not just an attack, it was a statement. The exterior was fire and destruction, dramatic and undeniable. The interior was intricate planning, innovation, and cooperation. The performance was flawless, showing Ukraine's evolution as a military force. The safety features highlighted precision and moral high ground. The unique selling points demonstrated Ukraine's boldness and capacity to strike fear into its adversary. The price, though high for both sides, tilted heavily against Russia, crippling its war machine. Together, these elements create a story that will be remembered not as a single event, but as a turning point in the conflict, where Ukraine proved that retaliation is not only possible, but devastatingly effective. This is the story of Ukraine's retaliation, of Russian refineries in flames, of a war that is fought not just in trenches but in energy hubs, economies, and mines across the world.